welcome to my brand new series. It's called Life at Leeds and it's on FM17. The beta we're starting with, we're going to be running straight through to make it our main save as soon as the main release happens. Now before I go into anything else, I just want to ask a question regarding FM16. I was at the point of nearly finishing my Easter save, the non-league adventure. I was going to try and get to the end of the season. Obviously the beta, or beta, however you pronounce it, someone please correct me in comments because I'm not entirely sure how to say it, but anyway, basically I predicted it'd be Friday that this would come out, and it came out on the Tuesday, which left us literally no time to do it. Now, would you rather I just sacked it off and just went straight into FM17, or would you rather me just play all the games and do a summary at the end, or if we're doing well in the cup competitions, do one last commentary for the FA Cup final if we get there? I mean, there's no guarantee. I think we've got. I'll bit of a spoiler. I got to the quarter-finals, and I had a fairly easy route to the semi-final. So I was potentially going to be at Wembley. It's just more thinking of a suit and tie sort of thing. Let us know in the comments below. Just let us know, and I'll see what I can do if there's enough people would like it. So moving on to the actual game release of FM17, and as you can see, you're thinking, who the hell's that guy below? Now, believe it or not, this is a result of this picture here. Now, granted, my eyes are a bit closed, but I was thinking more of on the lines of there's no light on one side, because I did a couple of pictures and they ended up looking like this and this. This one in particular, I think I look like a zombie from 7 Days to Die, but I don't know. So I opted for this one here, the original that you've seen to start off with, and I pressed continue by accident, and as a result now I look like I'm going to say it like I'm from the Far East. Let's just say that. I've chosen these particular leagues where you can see the ticks. That's what I've selected, just for mainly the main players to kick us off with our first save in FM17. The plan is to make it last till probably, you know, at least the January transfer update. So I'm guessing it's going to be sometime in February, maybe early March, and then do a long, like a lower league save again, but probably one more closer to myself, like even more local than before. So just take a moment, if you want to pause the video, have a look at all those countries, unless you've seen them all already. So this is my managerial style that I've chosen. I put it on the suggested badge based on the division. That's what I've gone for. And then I decreased goalkeepers and fitness and improved certain stats like attacking, defending and tactical. I think that's some of the key things. Determination is, I didn't never realise this before, but for a manager, it is basically, if you make a request to the board, it's how likely they are to reject it, and the lower it is, the more likely they are. So I thought 15 was a decent start, not like 100%, where they're probably just going to give you the world and more. But I largely like to become a motivator. Even in the lower leagues, I try to get the motivating as high as possible and sod everything else, because everything else seems to be a build in time. So as a result, yeah, Leeds have hired me. Gary Monk has signed and bid farewell. Ignore the question marks for now. I don't know why. I didn't even realise when I'd done this. But basically, yeah, I'm going to be Leeds. That's hence why it's called Life at Leeds. Is this season is the title of this? But we're not going to be playing. This first game will probably be on the next video against QPR. We did actually play them first game of the season. It was live on Sky, and we got absolutely destroyed 3-0. So it'd be nice to put that right, even if it is in a digital world. So yeah, first of all, I'm going to go into the transfer loans in and out at this moment in time. Some interesting names there. Pablo Hernandez, once of Valencia, and has got four caps for Spain. Pontus Jansson, who's an absolute animal and is just awesome, quite simply. Kyle Bartley, solid acquisition from Swansea. Matt Grimes, also from Swansea, probably going to be a bit part player this season. And then Hadi Sacco, who's got a lot of promise from Sporting Lisbon. He's actually got a minimum fee release clause of 61 million in real life. That shows how highly he's regarded. Loans out at the minute, you've got Jordan Pataka, he's over at Charlton in League 1. You've got Alex Perver at Guiseley, our feeder club. Belushi is at Empoli, the madhead who likes to get sent off and is just the most error-prone defender going, but on his day he's like the world's best defender. And then Lee Irwin, he's another up-and-coming Scotsman. We signed him from Motherwell at the beginning of last season. He's now on loan for the season at Oldham Athletic. And then lastly, you've got Dario Meadows, who is just a youngster from Rome who's come to play in our under-18s team, our development squad, I think is what the actual correct term is. And this is the lineup. I'm going to go through all the players. It's going to be a bit more in-depth. You might have seen, I did proudly make my debut for FM Scout last week, or earlier in the week, should I say, and I did do a video on why to choose Leeds for your saving FM 17. But this is going to be more in depth now. I'm going to go into the players a lot more now. So you've got Robert Green, start off at the back. He is, a very determined fellow. He's a 3.5-star current ability player. He's going to be very good at least for this season. And the fact that he's got a lot of determination and decent mentals, really, I see him as an ideal person to do some tutoring for us, for some of the young kids, because we've got a couple of youngsters, particularly 2 goalkeepers that have got some very high potential. So if we can get him tutoring one of them, should hopefully increase their determination and in turn all the rest of the stats, because the more determined they are, usually the better they become. Marco Silvestri here. He's an adequate replacement. He's also 3.5-star and he's a lot younger. He's 25 years old. He looks very happy. But yeah, as you can see, reflexes is very, very good. 17. Tendency to punch kind of lets him down. I'd rather have a keeper that can catch. I mean, handling's 14, which is bad. One-on-ones is 13. That's usually one of the key stats in any goalkeeper. But mainly you're looking at reflexes, one-on-ones, handling, and then your command of area, aerial reach, and communication is secondary. But the higher the level you get, they need to be on point, and communication and command of area really let Marco Silvestri down. Right back, we've got Luke Ayling, who signed from Bristol City at the beginning of this season, and he's not bad, He's got some really good mentals, decent physicals, and he's not too bad in the technical sense as well. His marking, heading, and tackling is very good, really, for this level. I wouldn't say exceptional, but good enough for this level. He's still got a little bit of room for improvement, but to be honest with you, his improvement will stop on the 25th of August of this save, because he will turn 25. That's generally the cut-off point for any development, really. Then you've got Gaetano Berardi, and again, if you did see my FM Scout debut, I promise I won't go into it too much, because I don't think I will after this, because I did say, because that was based on the FM 16 on the updated database, I did think there'd be one player injured, and indeed it is. It's Gaetano Berardi, and as a result, his actual current ability has gone down to 3 stars from 3.5-star, because last season he was like one of the best players you could probably have in the Championship for fullback. But because of his injury proneness, I think that affects his potential and what have you, and his actual ability. So that's, for me, why he's down as a 3-star player. But as you can see, determined individual, very aggressive as well, which it's always nice to have sometimes, as long as you haven't got too much. Some decent technicals as well, tackling, marking, stand out in particular for them. His crossing's decent as well, fairly good at dribbling as well, and his physicals are very good for this level. Moving on to the centre-back position, we've got Liam Cooper, who's also got a little bit of potential left over, but he's probably not going to really achieve much by the end of August. Main weaknesses you can see is probably his athleticism, his pace, and his agility. He's fairly strong. He's very good at heading, marking, and tackling, and his position is not bad. Fairly determined individual. He's brave. His anticipation is good. Like I said, the main thing that lets him down is his physicality, basically. The next centre back we have is the first of the loanees, and it is Kyle Bartley from Swansea. As you can see, he's very similar in vein to Liam Cooper, although he's probably a little bit better because, he's stronger, he's better in the air. It's actually a little bit worse at marking, but he's a more determined individual, a bit braver. It probably edges him, really. They're similar on par for the current ability, but I think he's probably going to be one of the starting centre-backs this season. And then we move on to the man, the myth, the legend, the animal that is Pontus Jansson. There's a song about him. It's about a magic hat and having a brick thrown at him. You should give it a listen. It's very fun to listen to. And as you can see, he's a little bit quicker than the others. He's not as agile, of course, but he's very strong. He's great in the air. He's a determined individual again. He's actually decent on the ball as well. Passing and vision is like 10 and 11 respectively. And again, it's probably similar to the other two, but just slightly better. His heading's good, his tackling's good, technique's actually good, which is a rarity for a centre back. But yeah, he's definitely going to be one of the starting centre backs. There's actually a clause for us to buy him. I think it's for 3.6 million. I will look to probably try and exercise that clause should we get enough money. Then, the first of the problems basically that we have, and this is Charlie Taylor. Very good player, as you can see, a 4.5-star potential ability for this lad. Definitely going to be playing in the Premier League at some point in his career. In real life, his contract is actually up at the end of the season, and it obviously is true in this game as well. He's valued at £4.6 million, and I've tried to get him to sign a contract, and he isn't interested in signing. But you can see why I want to give him another contract with that potential. But not only that, I mean, look at his physicals. He's a naturally fit player. Stamina's very good as well. He's fairly quick for left back. He's mentally very strong in certain areas. Like, obviously a bit of room for improvement. As he gets older, they can only improve. And then look at his technicals: crossing 16, tackling 16. You know, first touch for a fullback 13, dribbling 13, corners 14. I don't like having fullbacks take corners, so may look to try and change that somehow. But even look at that, his passing is 12 as well, which for a fullback is just ridiculous. Then we move on to our captain, that is Liam Bridcup. We signed him from Sunderland permanently after a successful loan period last season, and as you can see, got a lot of leadership traits. You know, his work rate, teamwork are very good, determination as well, bravery, aggression. It's fantastic as well. Leadership is 14. That's only going to get better as he gets a bit older. He's 27 now. And his tackling's 15 as well. Passing's 12. Could be a little bit better for that. His marking's 12 as well, which isn't bad again. And he's naturally fit. His stamina is very good. And he's fairly quick as well for a defensive midfielder. So very pleased to have him on board this season. Once again, apologies for the question marks on the screen, but never mind. And moving on to another new face, which is Yunan O'Kane, signing from Bournemouth, I believe for about £1 million on deadline day in real life, hence why he is part of the squad now. Got a lot of traits: plays short, simple passes, shoots with power, plays on twos, and refrains from taking long shots. But looking at the rest of his game, mentally he looks very good. A lot of 11s and 12s mine, so maybe very good is it's an overstatement. Maybe it's good at best. Physicals aren't bad, again, naturally fit player. Stamina 16, natural fitness 14, fairly agile as well, 13. And his passing's 14 with vision of 13. Works hard as well with work rate of 16, which is pleasing to see. And unfortunately, I don't think he's going to improve much, but he's valued at 4.2 million, so we'll have to see if we can get him playing throughout the season, and maybe if he doesn't fit into our system that we're going to go for, maybe we might let him move on if we can make a little bit of a profit from him. We'll have to wait and see. But he's an Irish international, 4 caps, and yeah, he's not a bad player anyway. Now, next up we've got Pablo Hernandez. I mentioned him before, Spanish international, one time at Swansea and Valencia. In our system he's mainly going to be playing on the right hand side, but not on the attacking right midfield. He's going to be playing right mid. So I'm going to try and retrain him. I'm up into the fact that he's fairly versatile, what I mean it'll retrain fairly quickly. But he's lost a bit of his pace from last year. He was on 15 acceleration and pace. Flair's 16, you know, is still fairly good. He's off the ball, is very good, 15, vision 16, passing 15. He's been very good as an advanced playmaker, to be honest with you, in that Lukunku role, if anyone watched my non-league adventure series. As you can see, his technicals are very good with his crossing, dribbling, finishing, first touch, free kicks and long shots, all above 12 as well. Technique 16 as well, so he's going to be a very handy player. The only downside is we've only got him on loan until January. We've got Kamar Roof here, who, believe it or not, he has actually had an upgrade, but he's still not that good. I remember last season, I'm sure like he's finishing like 11 or something like that, and quite a lot of his other stats weren't that great. His concentration stayed the same at 6, which doesn't strike me with much hope. One thing he has got going for him though is he's got plenty of pace, and he's fairly determined. He's got a bit of flair about him. His off the ball's not bad, composure's not bad, finishing and dribbling are decent. Long shots is 13, which again isn't bad. But it's 23, he's got about 18 months to try and develop himself a bit further. He's currently 2.5 star player with potential of going up to 3.5 star, and he did join from Oxford United after scoring 24 goals in 56 appearances for them. That's from the wing, and don't forget all the assists that he made as well. And he did command a £3 million fee, which he needs to start living up to in real life, in my opinion. Moving into another central midfield position, got Alex Mowat, who is still probably the best current ability promising youngsters, if that makes sense. So he's 3-star ability at this moment in time, with the potential of maybe 4.5 star. It all depends, but as you can see, he's got a lot of 12s and 13s across the board really. He could really do with a little bit of an increase in his physicals for me. He's not the quickest, and he's not the fittest neither, it seems, but other than that he's got some good base stats to work with, and I'm very excited to see how this guy develops. We've got Calvin Phillips, who could be really good, both in real life and on this game. He's got potential of 4-star ability, he's 20 years old, he's got a lot of time to improve, and yeah, he's not amazing. He's probably the weakest of the central midfielders in a starting sense, but a lot of room for improvement. His physicals aren't bad, he's mentally not bad neither, you know, mainly 11s and 12s it seems, and then his technicals, again, 11s, 12s, 13 for his passing. Not a bad player, good squad player for this season. I may send him out on loan, it all depends what is going to be happening. And then Hadi Sakho, he's the loanee from Sporting, and as you can see he's a very quick player, a flair player as well, dribbling very good, his first touch is decent, fairly fit as well, and quite strong as well, surprisingly. I wasn't expecting that, as the Jamie Lawson would say. I wasn't expecting that, but teamwork and work rate are a little bit left to be desired, as are his decisions and concentration. But in real life, he's pretty politely shit hot. The other thing he lacks is his finishing, which I'm surprised to say the same. Actually, expecting that to go down slightly. But again, a bit of room for improvement. He's only valued at 250k, which I find surprising, despite that minimum fee release clause I mentioned earlier. And he'll probably play a bit part, like backup part this season. If he's not actually as good as what he is in real life, then it might have to be that he's moved on after his loan period is up. And then we've got Stuart Dawes, who can cover both wings naturally, and yeah, he's very good. He's not the quickest, that's probably his one weakness in this league anyway. And obviously you might remember him from the Euro 2016 finals. He was playing for Northern Ireland. I believe he played in 3 of the 4 games before they got knocked out by Wales, but you know, he's technically very good in a crossing sense and first touch and dribbling. His passing's not bad either, and long shots can chip in with a couple of goals from midfield as well. I'm looking for that in this season. Mentally, he's not that bad neither, and he's only going to get better, I think, in my opinion, because he's only 25, and as he gets to between 25 and 30, I think his mentals will only increase. The one thing that does let him down, like I say, is his pace, really, more than anything. Pace and acceleration. Not too bothered about wingers being very strong, but you know, he's physically fit. You know, he's going to run all day, tireless midfielder, as it says in the media description, and we'll have to wait and see how he performs this season, because he is valued at 4.8 million, and that's a guy you could potentially use as a bargain chip, basically, to get yourself some money to buy better players or other players or whatever you want to do. Then moving on to strikers, we're nearly there, and we've got Chris Wood here, who, again, he looks about the same as he was last season. I like to think that his pace has gone up slightly to 12 as opposed to 11, and he's seen as more of a target man. Now, if you're fond of target men, then he's probably going to be ideal for him. He's very strong, he's very brave, he's decent at anticipating situations, he's off the ball, isn't bad neither. Teamwork and work rate are very good as well, and he's obviously decent at heading and jumping high. So, you know, it's a very good option. I'm going to probably try and employ him as a deep line forward, because that's just the way I want to play, and see how he fares. If he plays well, he'll end up staying. If not, he could be on the way out. He's valued at 3.8 million, so again, it's another person we could maybe make some money on. He is a New Zealand international, 38 caps and 13 goals, so he's a very able player. And then the last of the first team squad members, you're looking at Marcus Antonsson. Swedish player, came from Kalmar FF after getting 22 goals in 41 appearances. Believed to be a £1 million fee. Again, only a 3-star player, maybe seen as backup. It all depends who we can bring in. But he moves into channels, he places shots, and he likes to beat the offside trap. He's off the ball, he's 14, so that kind of ties in quite well with that. He's fairly quick. It's composed, his finishing's decent at 14 as well. I think he has actually had a little bit of an upgrade from FM16, if I remember rightly, from the previous video that I did. And then finally, I'm just going to show you this guy. I also did call it again. Hate to mention that video again. It's like, stop name dropping, G. But yeah, I did mention it. Ronaldo Vieira. He was on the last game. You looked at him. He was the biggest pile of dog shit you've ever seen. Like 1.5-star potential ability at best. And I said he's like going to be the next Lewis Cook. Like Lewis Cook when he was 17, he was about the same standard as this. And then in the season after, when he was 18, he was a little bit better than this, and then last season he ended up being like a quality player, and you probably most likely saw him. It seemed to be a my game anyway, Arsenal every single time. Didn't matter what I did, it seemed to be Arsenal. Every single YouTuber save I looked on, it just seemed to be at Arsenal, because that, if that doesn't prove it he's going to be a top player, I don't know what it is. But anyway, this is Ronaldo Vieira, a great name. Two quality players from the past. No, it's not Cristiano Ronaldo. He has indeed been named after Fat Ronaldo, and I'm assuming it'll be Patrick Vieira, because he'll be of that age, probably, most likely. Portuguese, he has got, I think, about just less than a year before he gains British citizenship, so he would be available for England, believe it or not, I think. He's currently a 2.5-star player at 17 years old for this league, which is why I'm going to be promoting him into the first team. I might have to remove one or two of the other players and try and get some sort of transfer fee. But as you can see, already his physicals are decent. His mentals are very good. Yeah, but his technicals obviously need some work really. His passing and tackling technique aren't bad for a 17-year-old. Neither is his dribbling and his first touch being 13 and the best of the technicals. But a lot to work with this particular player here, and a potential 3.5-star minimum, but 4.5-star. You know, maybe a Premier League bound player. Maybe we'll have to wait and see. Getting onto the nitty gritty, and this is the thing that most people want to know, is how much have you got to spend, GW? 100 grand. And 5 grand on wages, don't forget that. So, yeah, bit of an issue with that, so it does mean we are going to have to sell in a means to spend, basically. So, that's what we'll have to do, looking at it. It's kind of justified. I mean, the club have, if you include all the loan signings as well, they've made like 11 signings, so it's kind of justified. In terms of our media prediction, we're predicted to finish 15th, which is kind of fair. You know, 350 to 1. Apparently these odds will increase and decrease as the season goes on. Favourites to go up are of course Newcastle, with Norwich and Villa not far behind them. Brighton, the best team from last season in the Championship. Wigan, Barnsley and Burton all kind of like joint favourites to go down. I'll have to wait and see. But if you do look at our homepage, you'll see that for the last 5 seasons we've finished like 14th, 15th, 14th, 14th, 13th, and literally we are mid-table obscurity at the minute, and this is going to be the challenge to try and break us out of that mid-table obscurity and get us up the league, get us up into the Premier League, back to where I feel, obviously I'm biased because I'm a Leeds fan, but you know, back to where I think we belong. And I've heard so many other teams' fans speak to us and say, Oh man, I miss Leeds being in Premier League. We used to have a great laugh playing against them. They've probably taken the piss because they probably thought, oh, it's just an easy 3 points or 6 points for that matter. I'm thinking like the Arsenals usually. They used to turn us over quite regular. But yeah, they do miss the rivalries. They do miss the support that we used to bring. But yeah, there's a nice summary of our team. We've got myself, who doesn't look anything like me, with Liam Bridcut, the captain, Liam Cooper, the vice captain, with Pablo Hernandez, the key player, and hot prospect, of course, is the one I just mentioned, Ronaldo Vieira. So moving on to the staff, quickly fly through these. We've got Pep Clotet, and he was actually a very, very good assistant manager in my opinion. Judging playability and potential is 16 and 15 respectively. Man management's only 11, but you look at everything else. He's working with youngsters is 18, attacking's 14, with tactical and technical both from 12. I just think he'll probably improve a lot as well. He's only 39 years old, Spanish of course. And yeah, he's a very good assistant manager to start off with, I think. I don't think you'll be able to get much better without paying a decent fee. Then you've got James Beattie, the former angry striker. I seem to remember him running up behind someone and headbutting him in the back of the head for Everton, I believe. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. But he's not amazing. He's still young, so again he might improve. His determination is 14, which I think kind of indicates that happening. And you know, we'll have to wait and see. I'll probably keep him on. Sean Rush is the fitness coach. His fitness is decent, definitely a keeper. Darryl Flowerven, his goalkeepers is 12, which isn't that good. But I might have to have a look and see if I can get someone else in. We'll have to wait and see. Head of Youth Development is Darryl Pugh. His judgment ability and potential is only 11, which isn't great. Is average at best. Terry Potter is our chief scout with a judging playability of 10 and player potential of 12. It's not really good enough, so we'll have to have a look at that role, I think, as well. And then Andrea Laurie, he must be a new scout because I've never actually heard of this guy. He's got judging ability of 9 and judging potential of 9 as well, which is obviously third for this level. Ryan Needs is a data analyst. Again, I don't recognise his name. And I don't even know which stats to look for because it's non-highlighted. Like on the rest of them, it's like it highlights which ones you need to be looking at. Not for this guy. Head physio is Henry McStay. 14 physiotherapy isn't bad, so I'll probably stay on. Steve Megson is 15, which is better. Again, it's not that bad. And then the sports scientist, again, there's no highlighting factors here. I would assume physiotherapy would be one of the most needed traits. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. Either that and fitness. I'm assuming a bit of both, really, if I'm honest. So that's it, really, for the staff. Really, we need some improvements in certain areas. Obviously, the scouting is very poor. But these are the finances for the first time it seems in decades. The overall balance is not in the red. So Salino must have been doing something wrong. He's obviously crazy, and he's got like an itchy trigger finger, and he likes to create a managerial merry-go-round, and hopefully I'm not going to be part of it. Hopefully I've got a long-term future at this club. So that's it basically. First game is actually going to be against QPR, the first live comp. It's not going to be obviously on this one because this has gone on far too long. But yeah, it's going to be hard. Some tough teams in this division. Newcastle, Villa coming down, both of them coming down in fact. Then you've got Norwich as well, who are obviously a decent side, a bit of a yo-yo team at the minute, but they always seem to do well. You've got the old favourites such as Derby, Brighton, obviously going to be challenging up there. Nottingham Forest usually do alright. So it's going to be a tough league. Sheffield Wednesday as well, that's another one, Five Badgers team. So it's going to be an interesting season. Let's see what sort of transfer business we can do, and hopefully I'll have some sort of news for the next video. The season expectations are as follows. Mid-table finish, that's what we've chosen for 100 grand. But for top half finish, it was 111 grand. But for reach playoffs, it was 123 grand. For the sake of 23 grand, I thought I'll just stick with the safe option of mid-table finish. I don't really tend to choose anything higher in the FA Cup because you've got one chance. If you get draw, all you need to happen in the third round of any of the cups, and get drawn Man United or one of the big boys, and you're out, and then you straight away you knackered, aren't you? So if I choose reach 6th round or reach quarter final, you're asking for a world of hurt in my opinion. So yeah, finally, just show you the fixtures. As you can see there, we've got QPR, first game, the first round of the cup is against Hartlepool. I'm expecting us, no disrespect to Hartlepool, but I'm expecting us to beat them and beat them well. But the first game, yeah, the first game is going to be QPR, and then we'll have a look at who we're going to play in the next live com. Got a sneaky feeling it might be Huddersfield Town. Buda Femmes, Huddersfield Town, big mate of mine. So that's something to look forward to as well. So hopefully you have enjoyed this video. It's the start of a new era. It's Life at Leeds. That's the name of the series. So hopefully you can get behind it, give us some support, and see where we can go on this adventure. If you think you know any players that might be available for dirt cheap, if I can manage to sell a couple of players, I might be able to gain myself about 2 million, 2.5 million, I guess. Just a guess. If you can think of any players that might be able to pick up for that sort of money, then please let us know in the comments below. And as always, hopefully you'll join us for the next one. And until then, I'll see you then. Bye bye.